People say weddings bring out the truth, but I never imagined my truth would arrive in the form of a whispered confession from my husband at the altar, minutes after we said I do. My name is Lydia Clark, and if you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe to Scarlight Stories, because what happened on my wedding day could fill 1,000 pages, and every page would shock you more than the last. My husband, well, newly husband, Evan Torres, was the kind of man everyone adored. Handsome, patient, charming in that effortless way that made old ladies pinch his cheeks and young girls giggle. We met 6 years ago at a charity event. He bumped into me, spilled his champagne on my dress, and apologized about 27 times. And from that night onward, I thought fate had placed him in my life. He was attentive, caring, and he made me believe in something I'd stopped believing in years earlier, that I was worthy of love. But on my wedding day, beneath the gold chandeliers and the soft violin music, I realized I had mistaken fate for something else. Something cruel. The ceremony was perfect. White roses, candles lining the aisle, the sun hitting stained glass windows like scattered jewels. I was shaking, not from fear, but excitement. When Evan said, "I choose you, forever," my heart nearly burst. And when we held hands to walk back down the aisle, confetti falling over us, guests cheering, I truly believed I was stepping into the happiest chapter of my life. But then, Evan leaned toward me, gripping my hand a little too tightly. His breath brushed my ear, and he whispered words that ripped my world apart. "Lydia, I need to confess something. I've been in love with your sister for 10 years. Everything stopped. The music blurred into white noise. My smile froze painfully on my face. I felt the strength drain from my body, but the aisle was long, cameras were everywhere, and people were watching. So I kept walking, one shaky step at a time. When we reached the end, I whispered back, "What did you just say?" He swallowed hard. "You heard me. I just couldn't hide it anymore." I stared at him, my heart pounding so violently I thought I might faint. "You confess this now? At our wedding?" His jaw tightened. "I didn't mean for it to come out this way." "But you still said it," I hissed. We were guided into the bridal suite while guests headed to the reception hall. My hands shook as I set down my bouquet. "What is this, Evan? A joke? A breakdown? What?" He paced the room, raking his hands through his hair. I didn't plan it, but when I saw her sitting in the front row looking at me, I lost control. "Why would you lose control seeing my sister?" I asked through clenched teeth. He sat on the edge of the couch, covering his face. "Because, Lydia, I fell in love with her before I ever met you." The air was ripped from my lungs. My sister, Nina, was everyone's favorite. Tall, elegant, the kind of beautiful that made people say things like, "You must be so proud to be related to her." We were only a year apart, but she had always overshadowed me effortlessly. Growing up, she was the star student, star athlete, star everything. She dated the most handsome boys, won the biggest awards, and had every teacher memorizing her name. I used to think she was perfect, but she also had a cruel streak, subtle, sharp, and always aimed at me. I thought I'd escaped her shadow by building my career, finding Evan, and finally having something that was mine. Mine! But apparently, even that wasn't true. "Did you ever love me?" I whispered. He flinched. I tried to. I felt like I'd been stabbed. Tried to? "Lydia, please, don't make this harder." I laughed, a sound filled with bitterness. You confessed to loving my sister at our wedding, and now I'm the one making it hard? He looked up finally, eyes wet. She doesn't know. She never knew. I never did anything inappropriate. I loved her from afar. For 10 years? Then why marry me? His voice cracked. Because you reminded me of her, and when you came into my life, I thought maybe it was a sign that I could move on. I staggered back. So that was all I was, a substitute, a replacement, a shadow of the woman he actually wanted. Before I could speak, the door burst open, and there she was, Nina. She walked in like she owned the room, a shimmering champagne dress hugging her figure, hair curled perfectly, makeup flawless. Her face looked worried, but her eyes, too calm, too knowing. "Is everything okay?" she asked softly. "People are waiting." Evan stood up as if pulled by magnetism. "Nina," she held up a hand. "Don't. Just tell me what happened. You two look..." She eyed my face. Drained, as if I hadn't just had the ground ripped out from under me. I turned to Evan. "Tell her." He froze. "What?" "Tell her what you just told me." His eyes widened. "Lydia, please." "No! You wanted this truth out so badly, you whispered it in my ear on our wedding aisle. So tell her, right now." Nina's expression shifted. Confusion first, then something darker. Something weary. Evan swallowed hard. Then he whispered, "I've been in love with you for 10 years. Her face went completely still, and then she laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, Evan," she said, brushing imaginary dust off her dress. "You're sweet, but you're confused." I stared at her. What is that supposed to mean? She gave me a pitiful smile. "You two should rest. Emotions are high. This is not the time for dramatics." Dramatics? My husband confesses lifelong love for my sister, and she calls it dramatics? Before I could reply, she walked toward the door, but just as she reached it, she turned back slightly and added, "And Lydia, maybe don't take everything so personally." Evan sank back onto the couch, head in hands. I stood frozen, skin crawling. Something wasn't right. Not with her reaction, not with the timing, not with the way she dismissed him so casually. There was something she wasn't telling us, and I could feel it. Something big, something ugly, something that would change everything. But I had no idea the truth waiting for me was far, far worse than a secret crush. Because what happened after the reception, what I discovered the very next day, would tear our family apart and expose a betrayal 10 years in the making. I didn't go to the reception. Neither did Evan. We sat in the bridal suite in complete silence, the muffled celebration happening on the other side of the door like it belonged to someone else's life, not mine. Guests danced, people made toasts, my mother cried from joy. And meanwhile, my marriage was already collapsing. But I had no idea that the confession was only the first crack. The real earthquake was still coming. And trust me, before this is over, you'll rethink everything you thought you knew about loyalty, love, and family. If you haven't already, hit subscribe to Scarlight Stories, because the twist that's coming, you won't see it coming. Evan was trembling. I was shaking for a different reason. Fury, humiliation, heartbreak, all twisted into something sharp. Finally, I spoke. "I'm going to ask you one question, and you are going to tell me the truth." He nodded slowly. "Have you ever acted on your feelings for Nina, even once?" His answer was immediate, almost too immediate. "No, never, I swear on my life." My stomach twisted because the version of Evan who confessed at the altar was raw and honest. This version, he sounded rehearsed, terrified. I opened my mouth to press further when someone slammed the bridal suite door open so hard it hit the wall.
It was my mother. Her face flushed, her eyes wild. "Lydia," she snapped, "what are you doing in here? People are asking questions." I stared at her, stunned. "Mom, you're yelling. You don't leave your own reception," she hissed. "You come out, smiling, thanking everyone, being gracious, not hiding in a room like a child." I blinked. "Mom, my husband just told me he's been in love with Nina for 10 years. She froze. Then she exhaled. A long, tired exhale that made my skin crawl. "Oh, Lydia," she whispered, "not this again." "Again? Again? What does that mean?" I demanded. Before she could answer, Nina appeared behind her, like she'd been lurking just out of sight. "Is everything all right?" she asked sweetly. Sweet. Fake sweet. The tone she used when she wanted to sound innocent. I stepped toward her. "You're going to tell Mom what Evan said." Nina's smile never wavered. "Oh, that!" she said lightly. "He was overwhelmed. It happens." My mother stepped closer to me. "Lydia, honey, your sister is right. Weddings bring out emotions, cold feet, pressure." Pressure? Was everyone insane? My husband confessed he loves her. Nina's eyes flashed, just for a split second, something sharp and panicked. Then she covered it quickly. "No, Lydia," she said softly. "He didn't say he loves me. He said he used to." Evan shot up. "That's not what I—" Nina cut him off. "You were stressed. You mixed up your words. It happens." And that's when something clicked. A small, cold click in the back of my mind. Nina wasn't surprised by his confession. She wasn't angry. She wasn't offended. She wasn't shocked. She was handling it, managing it, controlling it, like she already knew. Later that night, after my parents dragged us back out for photos and fake smiles, I found Nina alone in a hallway. Her makeup was perfect, her dress flawless, her expression icy. "Why didn't you seem surprised?" I asked quietly. She didn't turn around, but I saw her shoulders rise and fall. "Lydia, go enjoy your honeymoon." "No," I said firmly. "You knew, didn't you?" This time she turned, slowly. Her eyes met mine, and for the first time, she didn't bother pretending. "I've always known," she whispered. My breath caught. "What?" "Do you think he hid it well?" she said with a smirk. "He practically worshipped the ground I walked on for years." The hallway felt smaller, tighter, darker. "Then why did you pretend you didn't know?" I demanded. She stepped closer. "I didn't want him," she said. "And I still don't." Her face hardened. "But I also didn't want him gone. Some men are useful when they adore you." My stomach turned. "You used him?" She tilted her head. "Oh, Lydia, I use everyone. Don't look so shocked." The way she said it, like it was obvious, made my blood run cold. All those years, I thought Nina was just self-centered. I never saw the full picture. She was calculated, sharp, manipulative, and she liked having people under her thumb. But why hide it from me? Why let him marry me? I asked her exactly that. She shrugged lightly. "He moved on, or at least I thought he had.
And besides, she leaned in so close I felt her breath on my cheek. Not every man who wants me should get me, Lydia. Some of them should get you. It landed like a slap. I stared at her. What is wrong with you? She smiled. Jealousy looks ugly on you. I stepped away, trembling with rage. She walked past me as if the conversation meant nothing. But then she stopped, looked back, and added one last sentence. A sentence that changed everything. Don't worry too much. Evan will forget all about this by tomorrow. As if she knew exactly how things would unfold. As if she already had a plan, a script, a direction. And the terrifying part? I believed her. Evan and I left the reception 2 hours later. In the car ride to the hotel, he was silent. His hands clenched, his jaw tight. I need to explain, he whispered. But before he could, his phone buzzed. A text message.
From Nina. A single line. Everything is fine. Just stick to the story. He immediately locked his phone, too quickly, and my stomach sank. What story? I asked quietly. He stared out the window, didn't answer, didn't deny the message, didn't defend himself. That's when I knew my sister wasn't done, not even close, and whatever her involvement was, whatever strings she had been pulling, it was bigger than a crush, bigger than a wedding, bigger than Evan's confession. Something rotten was hiding beneath 10 years of secrets. And the next morning, I found it. A discovery that shattered the fragile pieces of my marriage and exposed a secret my family hid for an entire decade. A secret that made Evan's confession feel like nothing. People say the truth sets you free, but they never mention the part where it destroys everything first. The morning after my wedding, the morning I was supposed to wake up glowing with newlywed bliss, I woke up alone. The hotel bed was empty. Sheets cold. Evan gone. At first, I thought he was getting breakfast. Then I thought maybe he was showering. Then I noticed his phone wasn't on the nightstand. His wallet was gone. His ring was gone. And my stomach dropped. I stumbled out of the room, panic seizing my lungs. When the elevator opened on the lobby floor, I saw him, sitting in the lounge, talking to someone. Talking to Nina. She was in jeans and sunglasses, casual, too casual for someone who had been at a wedding until 1 a.m. He sat hunched over, head in his hands. She stood over him like she was scolding a child. I stepped toward them, my pulse hammering in my ears. "What is this?" I demanded. Nina turned, completely unfazed. "Oh, you're awake?" Evan's head snapped up. "Lydia, I was just talking to my sister," I finished for him. My voice cracked, but neither of them seemed bothered. If anything, they looked like they expected this, like they'd rehearsed it.
Nina sighed dramatically. Lydia, don't make a scene. Sit. I'm not sitting, I snapped. Explain, now. She crossed her arms. Fine. Do you want this short version or the long version? The truth, I whispered, for once. Just the truth. She exchanged a glance with Evan. And that's when it happened. The moment everything shattered. Nina said, Evan isn't in love with me. He's in love with what he thinks I am. I blinked. What? She rolled her eyes, bored. He doesn't love me. He loves an image, a fantasy he created when he was, 15? Evan looked away shamefully. I thought I had moved on. Nina continued. And when he started dating you, I assumed it was because you were safer, easier, someone who wouldn't challenge him. My throat tightened. Stop, just stop. But Nina wasn't done. In fact, I hoped it would work out. Honestly, you marrying Evan made my life easier. He finally stopped orbiting around me. I stared at Evan. You never stopped liking her? He hesitated. Too long. Just long enough. No, he finally whispered. I never fully stopped. There it was. Plain, simple, devastating. But that still wasn't the real secret. Not the one they'd been hiding, because the truth had nothing to do with love, or weddings, or confessions. The truth was about money, about inheritance, about manipulation, and about my sister's unbelievably calculated, cruel ability to play people like chess pieces. I asked the question again, a question I didn't realize would change my life. Why didn't you tell me before the wedding? Nina's expression hardened into something cold, businesslike, snake-like. Because, she said, I needed Mom to change the will first. Time stopped. I felt nauseous. The will? I whispered. She nodded. You weren't supposed to find out until after the honeymoon, but, well, things spill.
I stared, hands trembling violently. What did you do? She shrugged, like this was a casual brunch conversation. I convinced Mom that you didn't have the emotional stability to manage the family fund, that you needed to focus on your marriage. My heart slammed against my chest. What did you do? She smirked, a cruel, victorious little smirk. I had her transfer your inheritance into a joint marital trust. My blood froze. She continued, and guess who manages that trust? I felt my knees wobble. No. Nina grinned. Your new husband. My world collapsed. Every puzzle piece snapped together. The rushed engagement, Evan's sudden interest, my mother's odd urgency, Nina's strange support of the relationship, Evan never questioning signing the prenup, him insisting we merge our finances for transparency and unity. They weren't trying to build a marriage. They were trying to build a trap for me. I stared at Evan, whose face was pale and sick. You planned this, I whispered. Both of you. Nina raised a finger. I planned it. He just benefited. I turned to Evan, whose face was pale and sick. Is that why you married me? For money? For control? He swallowed. I didn't want to, at first. But your mom said you... My mom? He nodded miserably. She said you wouldn't care, that you didn't even want the inheritance, that you'd rather someone responsible... Responsible? I exploded. As in Nina? Nina smiled sweetly. Mom trusts me more. I stared at her. This was beyond cruelty, beyond betrayal. You destroyed my marriage. You stole my inheritance. You ruined my life. She tilted her head. Oh, Lydia, I didn't ruin your life. I just organized it. Evan whispered, I did love you, just not the way you deserved. I cut him off. Love. You don't get to say that word to me ever again. I walked out of the hotel shaking, not crying, shaking. Because something sharp and cold had ignited in me. Something I didn't know I had.
A fire that burned hotter than heartbreak, hotter than humiliation, hotter than betrayal. Resolve. My mother, my sister, my husband, all three had built this together. A conspiracy to strip me of everything. But they had made one mistake, one fatal, irreversible mistake. They thought I was weak, quiet, naive. They forgot that when I love deeply. But when I am betrayed, I break the game. 3 weeks later, their little scheme was ashes. I exposed the trust manipulation. I hired the best attorney in the city. Evan received divorce papers. My mother faced legal consequences. And Nina lost everything. Because letting her ruin my life wasn't justice. Taking back what was mine, that was justice. And I didn't just take it back. I took all of it. Every dollar, every asset, every piece of power they tried to steal. I rebuilt my life without them. So yeah, my husband confessed he loved my sister on our wedding day. But what happened next? I didn't just walk away. I rose, I fought, and I won. Because sometimes the worst betrayals lead to the strongest versions of ourselves. The end. If you want more shocking, twist-filled stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe to Scarlight Stories, where revenge is served freshly baked every single day.